Hey listeners, today we're going to talk about how to uncover the keys to personal success and fulfillment. Success is not a one-size-fits-all approach, but it's about defining what matters most to you and taking intentional steps to achieve it. Today we're going to talk about 5 essential keys to discovering your unique path to success. Hey parents, welcome to Fulfillment Therapy. Do you want to raise your kids better and have a stronger marriage? Are you up late at night researching marriage and parenting tools and self-care tips? Do you start each day hoping for deeper connections and less chaos, but it ends with family arguments and going 12 different directions again? My name's Kendra, wife, mom, therapist, and growth enthusiast. It wasn't until I discovered how to fulfill my unmet needs that I was finally able to show up as my best self as a spouse and parent. I realized that by meeting my needs, I could more fully meet the needs of my family with more energy and less resentment. In this podcast, I teach parents skills like boundary setting, prioritizing personal needs, communication, and claiming ownership. Just like my clients, you'll be shocked by the improvement in your marriage, parenting, and personal life when you focus on fulfilling your important, unmet needs. Ready to prioritize yourself so you can quit mentally throat punching people? Then grab those earbuds and head outside, and let's walk and talk. Welcome back, my friends. Today is episode number 119, 5 Keys to Success. Discover what matters most and how to get it. I've had a few clients lately who have come in and they've talked about how they felt so discouraged by life and asked if life was really supposed to be this hard. And it made me think of this meme that I saw. I'll try to explain it to you since you can't see it. But it showed an arrow angling upward, but in this straight line. And the caption said, what people think success looks like. And then another graphic of this giant tangled arrow that eventually makes it upward. And it kind of looks like what the stages of grief looks like, where it's just this big, giant, tangled mess. And yet it still does move upward, just not in the straight, perfectly upward line that we're expecting. As I often do, I've been reflecting on my own life and success lately because of those conversations with some of those clients that I've had. And as I've mentioned on previous episodes, my husband's job changes have caused a lot of uncertainties lately, and doubts have crept in. And there's other things that have also happened, like canceling things that I've really looked forward to and just other family stuff. And I've been somewhat disappointed in life lately too. And like my clients, it really does look more like that winding, tangled arrow. And when you see that, it's easy to despair. So today we're going to talk about how to accept that tangled arrow while still moving upward, and how we can identify what success looks like for us personally so that we can celebrate what really matters. And before we hop into that, I just want to quickly mention coaching. Go to fulfillmenttherapy.org to sign up for one-on-one coaching. This is for you if you want some professional help, but you want more of a coach instead of a therapist, but one with all of that mental health background that can speak to both of those things, which is quite rare. So if you're looking for more accountability, you're looking for a way to move up that pyramid and find greater fulfillment instead of just putting out fires in your life, to take life to the next level, then go ahead and sign up on fulfillmenttherapy.org right now. All right, my friends, are you ready to talk about the 5 keys to success? Let's start with key number 1. I almost want to roll my eyes as I say this because, like several other things, the patterns that I noticed, this is one that we talk about a lot, but I'm going to say it in a different way today, so I want you to listen up. So key number 1 is reflect on your values. Everybody says that. It's such a buzz phrase, and yet how many of us actually do it? So in the show notes, I'm going to put my free resource for you to help you identify your values. This is something that I've given away before, but this is a very important first step. I'm going to explain why with 2 quotes that say it better than I could say it. The first one says, "Values are like lighthouses. They are signals giving us direction, meaning, and purpose." So why are values important? Because they give us direction, meaning, and purpose, which is what we all want. The next quote says, "It's not hard to make decisions when you know what your values are." And that's by Roy E. Disney. The quote before that, we don't know who said it, but it's great. When we know what our values are, decisions are so much easier. And you're really going to see that today, I promise you, because I did this on myself as well, and it actually worked amazingly. So when we take the time to reflect on our core values, which are our deeper values, which we'll explain in that exercise if you want to go do that, you'll really start to understand what truly matters in your life. And these values serve as a compass to us, and these guide us towards these decisions and actions that help us become our authentic self. For example, maybe you say you really value family, but you feel really depressed staying at home full-time with your kids. And you are anything but your best self as a wife and a mother because you are never leaving the house, you're not getting out, you're not making yourself a priority. Now, for the sake of this example, I'm not telling you you should or should not do this. Simply explore your values. Sometimes we think that our values are what other people tell us they should be, but we find over time, maybe that wasn't it. Like I've had a lot of clients use this particular example, which is why I gave it. But then they said after a while, like talking with their spouse, they just did that because that's how they grew up. Where if they could go back, they would work a tiny bit and have their husband work a little less. So somebody was still always with the kids or doing something like that because they really valued a parent being with them. But they didn't explore other options because that was what they thought they valued and that there was only one way. So it's exploring about what is best for you and your family, regardless of what other people say is the best way, the right way, or the only way, whatever that looks like. All right, now I'm going to give you an example from my own life so that you can do this for yourself. This morning, after I listened to several other podcasts that I follow, I was listening to how one woman talked about what success looks like to her. And I thought, I don't know that I really have thought specifically about the top 5 things that success is to me. So I started writing them down, and I'm going to share that list with you so that you can do this yourself. So for me, number 1 is, in no particular order, success is time with my family. I want to see my kids off to school, and I want to see them when they get home. And this is something similar to what this podcast host said too. And that is a major priority for me. I also want to be at their games and their performances. Because, and this is key here, because I value family. And over time, I'm learning that I value quality time versus quantity time, but I want to be there at those crossroads, those important things that let them know that I care and that they are my biggest priority, besides maybe some of these other things that I'll mention in just a minute. But they are one of my biggest priorities, absolutely, in my life. And when I act accordingly, that is when I find greater success, happiness, and fulfillment. Okay, number 2. This is key number 2. Get mad and set clear goals. You're probably wondering what the get mad part is about. Well, sometimes getting mad is vilified a little bit, but this is such a big motivator. And I think it's crucial a lot of times to get a little frustrated and to not just sit in that apathy and that complacency, but finally to get mad enough. Like, for example, I have some clients say, I'm so tired of being unhealthy. Good. Get mad. Get frustrated. Get fed up. Because that's when change starts to happen. That reminds me of the stages of change. Where are you? Are you ready to move forward? Are you ready to make changes? If you are, fantastic, because that's when life gets really fun and interesting. So when you understand your values, you're going to set some clear and actionable goals that reflect those values. This could be in the career realm or relationships or personal growth or health. It could be any number of things. And again, when we get mad, that causes a shift in us where we stop making excuses and start making necessary changes. And I'll explain a little bit more about that in just a minute. This is my second personal example. Success is work independence. I am so tired of other people upending my life and my family's life, so I want to work for myself forever, unless they had such a sweet deal where they gave me so much autonomy and something I could not refuse. Unless it was something like that, I never want to work for anyone else again. I want to make my own schedule and be my own boss without being guilt-tripped or shamed into doing things that take me away from my family. I want to go where I want and when I want. This is success because I value independence and stability, and again, I value family. So what does that look like for you? I've just shared 2 ideas, so hopefully the wheels are turning and you're starting to think of some things that are the biggest top 5 things for you. Key number 3, embrace continuous learning. Success is a journey of growth and learning, and when we stay open to new experiences and seek those opportunities for self-improvement, we are able to expand our knowledge and our skills and, in turn, obviously, our fulfillment, our happiness, our progress, which is exactly what we want, right? Ben Franklin said it really well this way. He said, "Without continual growth and progress, such words as improvement, achievement, and success have no meaning." And I've talked about this a lot before. So if you really do want those things like achievement, success, improvement, fulfillment, all of these things, then you need to be progressing and continually growing. This is something I love to talk about because people's perspective on this is so interesting and often flawed. You're basically saying that you want to stay stagnant, but in the process you want to be happy and successful. But really it's this mindset of, I want a fast food diet with a supermodel body. And it's just not possible. And my third example goes along with that. Success for me is being physically healthy and holistically healthy. So for me, that's playing sports with my kids and living this long and healthy life. And it's not just minor health, but it's full health. I want to keep up with my kids well into my 60s. I want to be right there with them running races or skiing or whatever that might be. I want to be able to do those things. And because I've made sacrifices to change my national culture, I do things differently than average Americans because, as we all know, sadly, average Americans are not healthy. All right, let's talk about key number 4. Cultivate resilience and stop making excuses. So, my friends, you already know that challenges and setbacks are inevitable on the path to success. Remember that arrow that winds around and looks almost like a giant hairball? We cultivate resilience when we adopt that growth mindset, which I also love talking about that. But where we can reframe failures as learning opportunities, and when we persist in the face of adversity. So I mentioned just a little bit ago about my husband's job. Well, since that time, I've been in a slump and I just got angry. And I stopped saying why it was unreasonable for me to go do the things that I felt like I needed to do or wanted to do, like important things to me that I really value. For example, there is an international retreat that I've really been wanting to go on for a while. This is more of a training for advanced meditation. And I wanted to do this not only for myself, but for my clients to get that really deep training in. And I finally just got so fed up and I stopped making excuses and I started planning on how I was going to make it happen. And the moment, it was so beautiful, the moment that I stopped saying why I couldn't and I got mad enough to give me some momentum that allowed me to plan, it was like I came out of this cocoon and had wings all of a sudden, like that butterfly or something even faster and more amazing, like a dragon, I don't know. Well, that felt so good, and I have been living off of that euphoria since then, because I was just sitting in that complacency and almost that pity and sadness, all these things are happening to me, there's no way out of them, What are we going to do? And I just can't stay there very long. It's not a productive place to be. It's not a fulfilling or happy place to be. But it's also somewhat necessary because as we sit there for a little bit and feel that dissonance within us, which I'll talk about in a later episode, that's what really motivates the change sometimes, or most times, I would say. I was so asleep, and once I made that change, it was amazing how other things started changing too. It had that ripple effect in my life, and I started planning more of what matters to me, and in turn, that helped me be such a better mother and person in general. My fourth example is that success is financial freedom. It's being debt-free and creating enough wealth to allow for growth opportunities for me and my family, like traveling. And this is not necessarily leisure traveling, but this is just experiences and learning from other people in the world and not having such a small, sheltered life. It really is about learning. It is about cultivating talents, getting more education, and creating more independence, which often comes with financial freedom. Again, it's not about things, but it's about opportunities. This is success for me, especially because I value freedom and I value growth. I know I talk about this a lot because it's the premise of my whole company, but Maslow's hierarchy of needs. Think about that triangle. Think of the bottom half being our basic needs and the top half being our growth needs. If we're moving past survival mentality and we are ready to move up towards more fulfillment, towards altruism, towards something greater than ourselves, then this can happen when we are working on our growth needs, when we are moving up that pyramid and living an authentic life according to our values. All right, key number 5. This is the last one. Celebrate your wins. Acknowledge and celebrate your progress and achievements along the way, my friends. If you do not celebrate these small victories, it is so hard to stay motivated. So when we celebrate, we boost our motivation and our confidence and even our holistic health that I was talking about, and we reinforce our commitment to success. So don't skip this step like a lot of people do. And my final example to help you create your own list in your head about what you might value the most and what success looks like to you is this. For me, success is growing in spiritual strength and wisdom and having that moral compass. I really value this because I'm an observer. I study people. I watch what brings lasting success and that fulfillment and that happiness. And like I just mentioned, it's not in the things. It's not in riches, it's not in power, but it's being committed to something greater than ourselves that allows us to become our best self. And for me, that is spirituality. I look around me and time again, I see that the most fulfilled people are spiritual and they believe in things greater than themselves. They don't make excuses. They are not about following the culture, but they are in tune with what feels right. And they live this higher law and they're wise and deeply connected to themselves and to God. And I just love that. And that's the kind of life that I want to live. I value spirituality. I value a relationship with God. Now, again, the reason I gave you these 5 examples is so that you can come up with your own top 5 ways to create success. And also so that you can celebrate what you are already doing that's allowing you to live a value-led life. Now, when I was listening to some of these podcasts earlier this morning, I was thinking, you know what? As much of a slump as I've been in, I'm actually doing a lot of my top things already. As you've thought about your own top 5, do you notice that maybe you're doing the same? And if you are, please celebrate that. Please. Tell your spouse about it tonight. Tell your kids about it. Ask them to come up with their top 5. What success is to them? Or what happiness really is to them. Sometimes when we use other words, we want to say what we think other people think we should value. Like maybe all of them are going to be spiritual ones or something like that. But there's a wide range of things that we feel bring success. And it doesn't just have to be in one realm, but preferably it will be holistically in all those different areas. So I hope that you're already living a value-led life right now. And for all of us, there are ways to improve. Now, maybe you don't have a travel van. That might confuse you because I really want one. But that is a thing. And that's not going to bring lasting happiness, right? Or maybe you're not debt-free, but you do have several of the things that matter most to you. And if that's the case, celebrate it. And then, after you celebrate those things, set those smart 1% goals. Plan your trip, meet with your financial advisor, get mad, maybe quit your job, go back to church, whatever it is. Success is not the destination, but the journey. It's about the person you become along the way. And my friends, maybe it looks like a giant hairball that's slowly starting to move upwards instead of that straight arrow straight to the top. But as long as we are moving upwards, it doesn't matter what our arrow looks like. Remember, it's not about conforming to society's standards, but about defining what success means to you personally. When we clarify our values and we set those meaningful goals, as well as embrace growth and cultivate that resilience, and celebrate the progress, you'll unlock your unique path to fulfillment. Because, my friends, all of our paths are unique. They should be. Encourage your family members to explore what their unique path is instead of it being just like your path. So whether you're a stay-at-home parent or a CEO or an employee, whatever it is, success is within reach when you align it with your values and aspirations. Keep climbing Maslow's pyramid toward fulfillment, my friends, and celebrate your twisted, tangled arrow upwards. That's all I have for you today, my friends. If you would, please share this episode and leave a review, and check out all of the amazing things coming in all the places, like our website and also social media. I post a lot of these things regularly, so be the first to find out what is happening, and all of those links are in the show notes. All right, my friends, take care, and best of luck as you intentionally create greater success for both you and your family. I'll see you in a few days. Hey friends, I hope you enjoyed today's episode. If you did, chances are someone else would too. Would you take 30 seconds to share this with a friend who's looking for greater family fulfillment? And while you're sharing, tell me what you think about the show by leaving a review on Apple Podcasts. It refuels me when I hear this podcast is helping you, no matter what your house or your hair looks like. I'll meet you back here every Monday and Thursday morning for more episodes. Until then.